injuries and roster moves. Right off the bat, Taco Charlton was already on injured reserve with like kind of an undisclosed injury, kind of weird. I don't know. It was weird that it corresponded with the very same day that Drake Jackson came back to practice and Robert Bill Jr. came back to practice. It's the way the NFL goes, but they finally officially released him on an injury settlement, which means Taco Charlton can now play this year, but not for the 49ers. He can play for any of the 31 other teams, but he cannot take one snap for the 49ers in this season and or playoffs. Cameron Latu, third round pick, not a good pick. Did not have a good preseason. He did have some good catches in the second preseason game, but if this is your first time with us, we go through every special team snap. It took everything I had not to tweet out the terrible special teams that this guy was playing, just because I'm trying my hardest. This is episode 939 of the 49ers Rush podcast. I love this show. We've been doing it for a minute, but I'm constantly, having a discussion with Brad Graham, who I think is awesome. I love that dude. He's just such a good guy. He does great Niners content. But I don't know what my role is in putting out negative type plays. I don't like it. We go through and we break down every single play. I send those over to Juan Solis, the man. He cuts them up into bite-sized chunks that I share on social media. And I'm just to the point now where I'm like, I don't want to share the negative stuff and tag. I don't tag players ever, but I don't want to do that. Cameron Latu is a part of this team's future. He's got a meniscus injury. He's probably going to need surgery. He's getting a second opinion, but that doesn't matter for this year. Shanahan's going to put him on IR and stash him for the whole entire year. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. It probably was going to happen anyway. Even if he didn't get injured, I think Shanahan would have told him he was injured, if that makes sense. And, whenever they drafted him, and I said, he needs time, man. And the one area that I will say I've been impressed by Cameron Latu, because again, I want to be positive and I want to look forward on things. His blocking was a lot better than what we saw at Alabama. Receptions were bad. He was generating space. That's good. Special teams was terrible. Was very, very, very suspect at best. And so he just needs time. And I don't think he's going to get that opportunity this year. It's probably best for his career long term. And he won't take up a 53-man roster spot, but he won't be able to be activated. So if you do that, now the other option is you put him on the 53-man roster, then you put him on PUP, or no, you couldn't put him on PUP because he didn't start on PUP. You put him on the 53-man roster initially, then put him on IR, and then you bring somebody else back. That's a possibility. But either way, this dude's going on season-ending IR or makes the 53 and then goes on short-term, IR and could return, but doesn't have to. Jordan Mason foot sprain day-to-day, not too concerned about that. Because remember, the new CBA changed it. When they added the 17th regular season game, they added this bye week before the season, which I love. I really think that this is beneficial to football because, traditionally everybody would play the third preseason game with their starters, which the Niners did this time. Then the fourth one was just for backups and whatever else. And so they deleted that. Now everybody's got 2 weeks off. I think that's a good thing. Chris Conley, who I think has done enough to make this roster, he's got an AC joint in his shoulder. He's day-to-day. Ray, he's got his broken wrist, probably out another month. He'll be 53-man roster, put on IR. Danny Gray, shoulder. Who knows how long that is? Probably another month. I'm not sure what to do with Danny Gray. Chris Conley outplayed him anyway. I think Willie Snead outplayed him. I don't know what to do with Danny Gray. I hate that he got injured so many times this offseason because at training camp he was flashing. When Ray went down, the opportunity was his. He would have been the first man up for that job as returner and number 4 wide receiver. He had soreness, and then he had a shoulder sprain after one play. And you listen to Kyle Shanahan talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. He soured on him whenever he started to say he just can't stay healthy. Talk about Trey Lance. Why did he get rid of him? He can't stay healthy. I don't want you to look at Sam Darnold's health record. He's been injured multiple times every single season he's been in the NFL. But same thing with Danny Gray. You got your chance. You got 2 injuries in the span of 2 weeks. I don't know what that looks like. Is there another team that's going to pick him up? I don't know. Talanoa Hufanga has a Baker's cyst, which is this is going to sound a fluid-filled sac behind the knee. I hated that sentence. You can play with it, but sometimes you got to get it drained. Sometimes that can lead to meniscus, knee issues. It's an uncomfortable feeling from knowing players that have had that in the past. Taylor Hawkins, broken hand. He's going on IR. They're going to stash him for next year. I don't think he was going to make the roster anyway. Then we got our kickers, Jake Moody, quad strain day to day. Zane Gonzalez, calf strain week to week. So Zane Gonzalez is out. I think you just roll forward with Jake Moody. I do not want to pay $3 to $4 million for a kicker to come in for a month. That's stupid. I'll take whatever kicker right off the scrap heap for weeks 1 and 2 if we got to put Jake Moody on IR. Don't give a damn. Do not overpay. We have overpaid for the kicker already in draft capital. Don't also overpay financially and give another million or two away for a part-time kicker. That is a very poor misuse of resources, which we've already done. So don't double down on bad decisions. I'm against that.
The 49ers Rush Podcast.